Yo, what's going on, boys? So I haven't done a Dopa review for a while now, so I thought what better way to hit it off with a Twisted Fate review of Dopa's new account on the Korean server. He's currently going for rank 1 in Korea. He's taking some time off from streaming again after his Trud account got banned. I'm pretty sure he's going for rank 1 now on this account. I actually had the pleasure of versing Dopa. I didn't actually know it was him. It was when I first got into Korea. He was not leveling, he was like doing his, I was like on my account in like mid-diamond or something, and he was just blowing past me. And he was playing with a duo. So I said to myself, wow, this guy's playstyle is really similar to Dopa's, but I don't think it's him. He was playing with a duo. I never see Dopa duo, but recently he dropped the duo. He's been playing a couple of games every now and then, gradually climbing on the Korean server. Almost challenger, about 100 LP off challenger right now. You'll probably see this account continue to climb up into the high elo of the Korean server over the next couple of weeks. He's taking about another month off of streaming, so I assume he's just tryharding for rank 1. And today, what better way to kick it off with a Twisted Fate review. Now, just having a quick glance over his profile now, guys. He has a 71% win rate in Korean Masters, 72% on his Twisted Fate, also in his same 79% win rate in Oriana with a 5 KDA. I versus Oriana. He was actually playing Oriana bot lane, so I didn't get to verse his matchup. I was playing mid lane, and the game ended up being a 15 FF. He didn't really do much. Like, he played very passive, farm 10 per minute. He was playing bot lane Oriana, which he's actually been doing quite a bit lately. But whoever his duo was playing Nidalee or something, just invaded, and he just killed everything. Game was over. But yeah, today's gameplay is going to be of Twisted Fate. It is going to be this gameplay here. So he's been going for the usual sorcery setup where he goes Comet, Mana Flow, Absolute, and Sork. But now he's been going Resolve for the Bone Plating and the Crystallize. It seems to be into most matchups. He's been running Summon a Spell Swap into things like Azir, and he's been changing it up into Grasp every now and then into things like Yasuo. But like, as you can see, like recently, even into the Irelia, he's been running the Comet Resolve setup and running Exhaust as well, which is kind of interesting. But today's gameplay is going to be Twisted Fate into LeBlanc, which is probably one of the strongest solo queue picks. Probably like the second or third strongest solo queue pick right now. Without further ado, let's get into today's gameplay, boys. Heading into the game now, I quickly want to touch on the starting item, and that's for a Doran's Ring 2 potions. Now, usually Dopa, he likes to go for the Corrupting Potion start with the Time Warp Tonic, but with this new rune setup, he goes for the Resolve secondary rather than Inspiration. So most of the time, he's going to go for the Doran's Ring into a heavy trading matchup where you can't really dodge out in the skill shots, or he'll go for a boot start into something such as the Ahri, where you're dodging out a lot of the early skill shots, something like a Xerath or something like that, where it's like, it's really important to have the extra early MS. But obviously into LeBlanc, it's a very high trading lane, and you just need to make sure you have a bit of health, a little bit more survivability in these trades, because if you can survive into 2 items into this LeBlanc matchup, as the game progresses, it gets better and better for you. But early days, the LeBlanc definitely favors this matchup hard. She has much more damage in the strict 1v1, a lot of mobility, and it's really risky. So we're going to see how he starts it off in his laning phase. Just sitting up, he's probably going to ward this brush at 120. We'll see if he blows his ward. So this is pretty common for mid laners right now, guys. He actually doesn't drop his ward. Doesn't bother to drop it. So mid laners usually are supposed, or like mainly it's like top laners, are meant to drop a ward in that brush for your jungler. So he starts off the first wave. You see what he's doing here, weaving a couple of autos onto the creeps. This is just to prep the minions so that he can get them all individually at different times. If you leave all of those minions, sometimes they'll all get low at the same time and you can red card to get the three minions, but sometimes they all get mucked up and you miss them all. So obviously there, just autos one, twice, just leaves it, slowly gets the minions. Early on in this matchup, you won't really see many trades. Whenever he is never going to instigate the trade. When the LeBlanc trades onto him, he'll look for the W, but other than that, look how he plays it. Look how far back he is. But soon he can definitely go up, pressure with the gold card on the minions. And if she does decide to go for the all-in, he just gold cards, Qs autos, gets a decent trade-off. But yeah, he's playing it really passive right now. You've got to do this into things such as the Camille. If you play into Camille, a Xin, sometimes Lee, if you do not hover really far back in your lane, they'll just sit there and they'll put you so far behind. Even if the gank doesn't work, a lot of the times you blow your flash. If you blow your flash into LeBlanc, you're fucking doomed. The matchup is, if you have no flash, the matchup's pretty much over. She can just pressure and harass you out for all of your CS. Goes for the trade there. Gets the Q off. Doesn't quite get a card, unfortunately. The wave's going to push back into him. He's happy with this. He's not going to... He wants the wave to sit... Like, see where his character is right now? He just wants to hover here this entire laning phase into level 6. And then look for the side lane map ultimates. I definitely would expect to see Merc boots... Mercury boots? Mercury threads? He'll go Mercs first. Into these matchups. Nice little trade there. See that resolve, that bone plating? Fucking... It definitely... If you didn't have that... The trades definitely do not go in his favor, but LeBlanc's pretty much out-trading himself. But yeah, as I said, you'll probably... Might be a 2v2 here. He'll probably go for the Merc treads into these type of hard CC matchups. The LeBlanc, the Ahri, the Syndra. Merc treads always are going to be a go-to. If he was into like a low CC matchup, such as something like the Azir, the Orianna, you're probably going to see a Catalyst. You're probably going to see a Catalyst and a Darkseal or something like that. But definitely into these high mobility, heavy CC matchups, boys. You're going to be getting those Sork shoes out, Merc shoes out to avoid that CC and just get a bit more MS to dodge out on the chains. Wave's in a pretty bad spot here. He's probably going to have to farm with his Q's long range. If he extends, like the Wave's shoving back into LeBlanc, she's keeping the freeze, and he really doesn't want to extend here because if she lands the chain, Camille comes through and cleans you up. But yeah, it's been interesting, this account. It's definitely the same player who's playing on the Trot account. I'm like 80-90% sure the Trot account was Dopa's account, so I'm pretty sure it's definitely him. He has a very, very similar champion pool and rune setup. He's been running a couple of strange picks, but I've watched a lot of, probably like 10 or 15 of these games just as reviewing them, and I definitely think it is him grinding. He posted a video on his YouTube like 3-4 days ago saying he's taken more time off League, more time off streaming, sorry, just to make sure that he can grind and play League to get his skills back up to par. I'm pretty sure that means he just wants to hit rank 1 career and then go back into streamer mode for a bit. He has the Wave in a really good spot here. The LeBlanc roams down, but as you can see, the Wave, it's negative for him. So if he just lets it sit, it's going to deny the LeBlanc a lot of creeps. He's probably sitting on a bit of gold though, so it's going to be interesting to see how he gets his back. He hasn't really done much in his lane so far, guys. He's just playing it very slow. More so reactive than proactive. If you're playing the LeBlanc, you really want to be proactive making the plays. When you're playing the Twisted Fate, you play very reactive. You try and like counterplay her trades, and also even with your ultimate and your ganks, you're kind of looking to set up like counter ganks. It always works best on TF. If the enemy Camille or something looks top side, looks bot side, you just ult in and clean up a couple of free kills. Also, take note, you don't have Minion Demon anymore on the Twisted Fate, so it's a little bit more awkward to really... What the fuck? Oh, I was like, what the hell? Did he just Minion Demon? I realized Alistair came through. But yeah, it's a lot more awkward clearing minions now if you don't get an early lead and early AP. But the sacrifice is worth it for the extra trading sustainability through the bone plating. Gets the Sork shoes, also gets a Ruby Crystal. He just wants to survive. He's down a bit of CS in this matchup. It is expected. If you go even, like I said earlier, though, you're going to eventually win out in the mid to late game. As LeBlanc comes through for trades and Ws in like the mid stages, you just hover a gold card. So it's kind of like a Lissandra where as soon as she comes in, get gold card, team collapses. But yeah, LeBlanc easily one of the probably top 3, even top 2 with Akali, I would say solo queue picks right now. The champ, I've been abusing the champ. The champ is pure bullshit. It has no bad matchups. It literally has no bad matchups. Like, I love playing into like the Cassidy matchup. I love people trying to counterpick me. It really doesn't work. The champion's too strong in solo queue. And I would recommend, if you can, pick it up. It's a pretty high mechanical champion. I'd definitely give it a go. Clearing out the pinks down bot side. LeBlanc doesn't have time because she's under tower clearing to Brass. We'll see where his first gank goes out. He's level 6. That Kali dives top. Oh my god. That was one of the most... did he know the... Okay, anyways, so that works out. He picks up the Akali. LeBlanc almost gets the chain stop on him. I guess he knows, like, if the chain doesn't land as he starts, he should be fine before the actual root comes through. Gets the free kill. He'll shove this wave. He'll probably shove the next wave. We'll see. No, it's not gonna... This wave should hit the tower first. If that wave was a little bit slower, boys, he would have shoved that next wave. Darius would have cleared mid, and then they rotate back. I've talked about this a lot in these type of reviews. If you go and gank a lane, make sure to shove it out, because it's just more efficient for you to do it. Unless it's like it's slow pushing back into you, then you can leave it for the laner to run back to. But even then, like, sometimes it's just better for you to hurry up, clear it in, to try and deny that Kali a couple of waves. And obviously the Darius is running out of base, so you can go mid anyway. Sork Shoes, Catalyst. LeBlanc is still very potent, but he's definitely getting survivability now. You can see, look at where this LeBlanc put that ward. That's a very important ward. When you're versing Twisted Fate, when you're versing Ari, when you're versing any of these roamers, Galio, they're not like obviously the global roamers is the best. Getting these lane wards, like a deep lane ward like that, it just shows you where the LeBlanc's headed. He's lucky he dodged that out. I wonder if the Camille would have committed. She's pretty big, not gonna lie. She's level 6. Doing a bit of damage. I'd say Camille is one of the top tier junglers right now for solo queue. It's banned like almost every game in Korean solo queue just because of how strong it is in the early game. Like, you can just open up an entire game within the first 5 minutes. Just gank mid, gank top, gank bot. The game's pretty much over. And if that happens in Korean solo queue, like in these type of games, it really is over because Korean solo queue is really... It's like morale dependent. If your team gets like 4 or 5 kills to start with, the enemy team just says FF open. They really don't like playing from behind and playing out games. They just really want free wins. They want quick, fast-paced games. They don't have time to like hope the enemy team makes mistakes. They just want to go next. It's definitely, in my opinion, I really don't like it because a lot of games are winnable, but the team just doesn't want to play it because they'd rather a free game. It's kind of a shame, but it's just the way Korean solo queue is. It's the culture here. It's just the way that the server, I guess, is just brought up to be. CSing pretty well. He's going to be wanting to get into the side lanes as always around about that 15 to 20 minute mark, guys. Especially when those outers are dropping. His lanes are doing okay. You should expect the Tristana, Alistar lane to drop the tower, especially if the Lee Sin goes bot side, but we'll see how he goes. The Lee Sin has a lead, so I hopefully he does pressure the pushing lane to try and get the first tower. Also, Drake's up. One thing I've noticed about Korean junglers, I've played with Tarzan, I've played with all of the best. Tarzan rank 1 with like 70-something% win rate. This guy's insane. I play with him, and the things I've noticed about these good junglers, guys, is that they solo the Drakes early. I'm talking 4 or 5 minutes. They're going to be taking that Infernal for their team. And they'll just stack those Drakes. They'll go for the Rift Herald very early in the game. And these are the, like, they get them. And they're just really good at timing it with your lane, I find. They don't do it when like you're backing. They do it when you have priority in your lane, which is when you should be doing it. LeBlanc looking for some kill pressure here. I highly doubt she'll get it. Like, obviously she's like 10 CS per minute now and she is in a really good spot, but Dopa is already really tanky. Like, look at the trade damage there. Unless the LeBlanc chunks you to around about 60% and then all in, she's not going to get the kill. She needs the Camille to back him up. Ultimate's back up. Looking at that Kali. Twisted Fate's an okay pick into Akali. I wouldn't say it's a counter pick, but when you ultimate, you can track where she is in the Shroud. And obviously just hard CC to Akali is always really good. But I definitely recommend the Lissandra. If they blind pick that Akali, Lissandra is your best bet. Go Aftershock. Just laugh in their face as they can't kill you and you just ultimate them and they get the hard CC. It's beautiful to watch. The one thing that intrigued me about this account was like when I versed him, he was playing duo and I thought, Dopa really doesn't duo. He's duoed a couple times in the past, but it's only been for a couple of games with his really close friends. He used to duo with a guy called Destiny. He duoed with Uzi a while back, just a couple of games, and he doesn't really like the duo that often, to be honest, but I guess he wanted to make sure that this account got a high win rate and he avoided that Diamond 1 AIDS, as I like to call it on the Korean server, which I'm currently fucking hard stuck at. Korean, like, I've been Diamond 1 and Masters about 13 times now, just up and down. I think, obviously, that is my elo if I've been here for so long, but honest to God, it's like the hardest thing to climb out of. It's not necessarily because the players are insanely good. It's just that the players' mentalities are fucking dog shit that, a lot of the time it's whatever team's mentality is better wins. Oh, topside fight here is kind of awkward. I wonder if Lee drops. Lee drops down. He's just playing it very, very slow. Has to flash out from the Camille there. If he gets caught up with that CC, he's 100% dead. Gets a reset. He's going to have a rod here. He's going to have the roller finally. 12 minutes. It's actually pretty good timing, to be honest. At least he should have it. Actually, he might not have. I'm not too sure. Definitely after clearing these waves. He sees this shit's going to crash. He doesn't want to waste the gold. You never really want like the waves to be crashing while no one's picking it up. You're just wasting XP for your team. The bot lane outage drop. Their bot lane going mid. We'll see if he just runs topside here. I wouldn't be surprised. Gets the roll, gets a control. To be honest, if he runs mid, their bot lane clears, goes top, it's probably better off because he doesn't really want to 1v2 the lane. He wants the topside outers to drop, then he wants to go into the 1-3-1. He's been spamming pretty much a lot of Twisted Fate. Also Kassadin right now. He's been doing like a different Kassadin setup with Electrocute and Bone Plating. He's really loving the Bone Plating, the Resolve secondary. Pretty much on almost all of his mid lane picks right now, which is interesting to see. I'm guessing he just assumes it's OP for lane. He can't get bullied out. It suits his playstyle a lot. He doesn't really play a proactive lane style, to be honest. He plays a very passive, reactive lane style most of the time. That's one of the best combos you can do there as LeBlanc. You go for the ult, you go for the Q ult. But it's alt QWE is one of the best lane combos that I've been using on my LeBlanc. It nets a lot of solo kills in lane, but also it's a high cooldown. It's like 40-50 second cooldown on your ultimate early on, so only really do it when you know you've got either kill pressure or you can poke them enough to secure objectives or towers. Like a lot of it, chunking people is underrated. So if you're playing Syndra, right, and you can ulti somebody for like 70% of their health, but you don't have kill pressure, a lot of the time it's worth doing it just to get them out of the lane, because then you can slowly build the CS and XP advantage. Next rotation around when your ultimate's up, then you get the kill. Sometimes just poking them with the ultimate, guys, is worth it. You see this with Orianna as well. Sometimes people are just simply just Orianna ults at full health just to poke them. Perks and caps are just a lot in their lanes when they play Orianna. But Syndra's definitely seems to be more meta than Orianna right now, especially in competitive. Literally everybody is just like blind picking Syndra. That's why I want to see more of these Echo picks, boys. Jizuke. Honest to God, he's one of my favorite mids right now after the Worlds. Like, the way he's been playing his mid lane is actually fucking sweet. He just plays his own style, man. He just does his own thing. He's always confident. He just believes in himself, man. I think that's what some of these Western mid laners lack. They just go into the lane like it's not expecting a loss, but just like playing so passive that the enemy mid just has full control. That's why that's why the EU mids are really good. They just have this high pressure lane, which is what people like Rookie have, people like Faker have. It makes you stand out a lot. But I'll be doing a review of Caps versus Rookie. I actually don't know. I might post it before this video. I released this video. But they played today and it was absolutely sick of a matchup. Rookie pretty much crushed Caps, but I'll talk about it more in the video why he crushed them. Obviously there's a couple of details there. So obviously like this game right now, guys, it's pretty slow paced, to be honest. He's just playing very passive. He hasn't used his ultimate that much. He's not popping off, but he's holding the LeBlanc, which is all you need to do. When you have the Tristana, you just want to hold a lane. She rotates around shoving, and you just use your ultimate to get pressure on a side lane. Then you ultimate across if the enemy team engages. It's pretty simple, but a lot of people fuck it up and definitely cannot hold lane against a really good LeBlanc. And obviously Rainbow, this guy is renowned for a good LeBlanc on the Korean server. He's a challenger player for a long time. I've seen him go games like 20 plus kills. So he plays his team fight. He's playing super far back. He just doesn't commit, you know? Just holding that gold card. Trying to contain that Akali. Fucking hell, that's a mobile. God, I ban that champ every game. I haven't played against Akali for like a month. I wonder if they can secure the dragon. It's probably a hella risky against a full health LeBlanc. If the enemy jungler was an AP like an Elise or a Talia, I wouldn't be surprised if his third item was a Banshees, but obviously this game, he's into the Camille. He's probably going to go an Hourglass third. Second item is always Lichbane. It's Rod Lichbane situational in my opinion. Dopa, probably about 80-90% of the time, he's going to go an Hourglass. He loves it to kind of ult in, get the gold card off. Hourglass, his team backs him up, but sometimes Banshees is better. Sometimes Deathcap if you're snowballing. Medjai's with the Soul Stealer is also pretty good sometimes if you 10 stacks with the Dark Steel. It's pretty situational, but the first 2 items, unless you're into a Fizz, or even a Zed, where the Hourglass is a lot of the time second, or the Seekers at least. Most time it's just straight Rod Lich Bane. Catches out the LeBlanc there, pokes out a really low. They're going to get the second Infernal confirmed here. You'll slowly see why the Twisted Fate is such a good pick against the LeBlanc in the later stages of the game soon. You'll see in these team fights, LeBlanc really cannot do anything. Akali should also be very cautious, just because of the hard CC. Twisted Fate is such a good champion against these high mobility pick mages, just because you can just simply, it's just a point and click stun. And if they don't run cleanse, like obviously top lane Akali can't, mid lane LeBlanc can run cleanse, but most of the time they run ignite to get that early snowball. Brings way more power and punch to the 2v2 with their jungler, which is usually the most important thing in these Korean solo queue games. Sitting on a ward here, just chilling. Not much for him to do mid side, so he might as well go for a ram. Interesting to see him not commit topside. I thought by now, like 19 minutes in, it'd be 1-3-1. I guess that Tristana is just continuously roaming top to pick up the waves, but he should rotate into the top side very, very soon. So I don't think these sieges are going to work too well. They don't have Rift, so it's kind of like when you siege without a Rift Herald and without Baron in the mid game against the champions that have a little bit of wave clear, it's just kind of awkward. A lot of times you'll force and you'll die. Koreans love forcing, holy shit. Really nice rotation down to the bot side. Picks off Camille. Enemy team is just not rotating fast enough. There's really not, when you play against a Twisted Fate, like he just sits on the Tristana, watch, and then he'll just gold card and nobody can engage. It's so nice for a carry, like the Tristana just feels extremely safe and secure, because standing next to the Twisted Fate, you've just got that CC. It's like when you have an Alistair sitting next to you, Raum. LeBlanc's actually doing a really good job at keeping the game alive by becoming a threat. If she gets a kill or 2 here into a Soul Stealer, holy fuck. Ken 1v9. They got to be super careful. Lee Sin goes for the all-in. He's ulted here. Where's he going? Upside. They easily get this. He has flash though. Will he commit? I think he could have killed the Let's see how he does it. Drops the ignite. Q auto's gonna do it. Fucking hell. Beautiful combo by Ali. Man, oh man, oh man. He still has flash, boys. It's not like when a player plays like this and holds their flash so long in these team fights where the flash is pretty much a kill, you kind of just know it's Dopa. Like, not many people have the ability to hold their summoner like that. Like, I'm a fucking noob like that. I'll just drop my flash ignite instantly with a Kai'Sa. And sometimes, though, this bites me in the ass because the team fight ends up being bad and I don't get any gold. But he just knows, he calculates, you know what I mean? And now for this next team fight, because he didn't blow his flash there, look, he's got the Lich Bane into the Medjais, into the Soul Stealer. A lot of the times, the Soul Stealer is a pretty bad buy. If you have no summoners, into something like a LeBlanc, Camille, Akali, you could die. But if you buy it with your summoners, with your flash up, you know for the next team fight, you're pretty much safe, right? Like, if you get in trouble, you just flash out. And you can still pick up those stacks. So it's a really good buy. Holding his flash there definitely allows him to buy that. And for the next team fight, you'll definitely see him collect a couple of assists, maybe a kill. And I definitely, highly doubt he'll die just because of that flash. He's got to be careful in the side lane now. Always keep that yellow trinket. You'll never see Dopa on Twisted Fate switch out his trinkets. He always keeps that yellow so he can split push, walk deep into the enemy jungle, get the trinket off, then walk back to lane. The vision is super important to side laning. Side laning without vision is kind of like useless, do you know what I mean? Like, the point of you side laning is being able to rotate across, bring pressure, but you have to know when the enemy team commits for you so you can back off. And obviously without vision, you just hard shoving, you get caught every time. I see it in low elo all the time. No jungler, the Baron should be secured. Just watch how he positions. You'll probably see him sit on the Oh shit, good poke. This is actually hella risky, holy fuck. Picks the red card. That was a mistake. It should have been a gold, but he accidentally pulled it too early. You also noted Dopa, he hardly ever insta pulls gold cards. When I play Twisted Fate, people always hit me up. Midbeast, you're a fucking noob. Can you not insta pick gold cards? But it's like, to insta pick a gold card in a team fight where you have all these things to watch, it's just, holy shit. That LeBlanc just flashed. She knew I wonder if he knew that if he sat there, she would flash, and he didn't need to. She should have been more, because if she reactively flashes to his flash, the card will already register. IQ mind games. What was I saying? What the fuck was I saying? Oh, the instant pick gold card. Yeah, it's too inconsistent to do. A lot of the times, you'll get the gold card. As you pick it, it'll cycle through and you won't get it. You might as well just let it rotate. Instantly get the gold card 100% of the times. Except for when you insta-lock the red card accidentally before, but yeah. Like, you can insta-pick gold cards, but most of the time, you've got to be, like, literally watching your character, and you've got to be really quick, and you need to be watching, like, you need to be watching for the gold card, but you also need to be watching for, like, skill shots, how the team fight's progressing, so it's kind of hard. A lot of time, you're picking cards through your peripherals, to be honest with you. Pops the flash there. Now, why does he pop the flash? He pops the flash because he knows these picks can result into a Baron, which is going to close the game out. Your flash should be used for kills that are going to result in objectives that are going to result in just like win conditions, okay? Like, if your flash is at the end of the team fight and you're the only one alive and it's not going to net you a Baron or anything, or a tower or 2 towers, don't do it. It's not worth it. But if your flash is going to get you an inhib, it's going to get you a Baron, definitely pull it to get you the numbers advantage for the objective, guys. It's definitely worth it. Interesting to see LeBlanc didn't go Banshee second. I think into Twisted Fate, Banshee second is fucking really good. It means he can... Oh, shit, the Camille. Jebaited. I think Trist has this easy. Oh, shit, LeBlanc comes through. Gold cards. That's why Twisted Fate is so good in the mid game against LeBlanc. The Banshees, I think, is a decent buy in a TF. I pretty much always do it in TF and Lysandra. It just makes it that much harder, because a lot of the time on TF, you're not running Cleanse, right? I think the enemy team FFs. But yeah, boys, this is what Dopa's been doing. He's been grinding a lot of TF, a lot of Cassidin. Hopefully you have enjoyed the view, the review, and my commentary. And until next time, boys, I'll catch you later.